Welcome to Spirit's Journey, coming to you live on Truth Frequency Radio and simulcast on Oneness Talk Radio. Your hosts are Patrick and Catherine Andrews.
Join us each week as we explore a wide range of metaphysical topics such as dreams, astrology, intuitive readings, and life purpose. You'll receive practical guidance so that you can live your most awesome life.
Learn more about what we do at intuitiveschool.com and connect with us on Facebook at Spirit's Journey Radio. Welcome to Spirit's Journey. We're coming to you on Truth Frequency Radio and simulcast on Oneness Talk Radio. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live, among many others. We're here in the Heartland holding the energy for spiritual truth and awareness. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Catherine. Welcome, everyone. So we're going to be focusing on health today, and I can't think of a better topic with everything going on in the world. And of course, we know that health is not only physical, it's spiritual, mental, emotional. So today, our guest is Pam Drinnon. She is a professional energy healer, spiritual counselor, prosperity life coach. She has certifications in the emotion body code, hypnosis, kinesiology, and the power reflex method. So if you don't have a clue what any of those things are, stay tuned in. We're going to cover all that and more. So welcome, Pam.
Thank you very much.
Well, I am so thrilled to have you because I think that health, both physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, is so key today, not only because the virus is going on, but, you know, we've had so much bombardment with technology, pesticides, negative emotions, on and on and on. I think that is the number one thing that is kind of blocking people from further spiritual growth is that they're focused on dealing with health issues. So why don't we just get started and talk about how did you get involved in these alternative healing methods?
Wow. Well, first of all, I got sick and had to heal myself. I didn't have insurance at the time, but for 2 years, I lost my health. This was back in the early 80s. And so I was living in LA at the time, and it was after my divorce, and I started going into health food stores. They didn't have any back in Tennessee, or maybe one, not many. Anyway, so I was looking at everything and trying to figure out what was wrong with me. And, so I just started detoxing. And so I really got into that and got good at it and started helping other people who were sick and not feeling good, telling them different ways that they could detox, and that became the thing. Then I got to feeling much better. I had, like I call, a miracle healing, and woke up one morning after taking these Chinese herbs that I found down in Chinatown one evening after dinner with a friend, and I mean, no pain. It was gone. It was amazing. So that's when I knew that I was on to something, and that because I had promised and committed to my higher self that if I would get well, that I would do everything I could to help other people, and make a difference in the world. I mean, I prayed for everything. I gave my soul. I said, God, just get me out of pain. But anyway, it happened, and then I met some wonderful nutritionists and chiropractors back in Tennessee when I moved back there, and they started teaching me kinesiology, even though I was doing shiatsu massage therapy at the time. And but I didn't like doing the muscle testing because nobody was testable, and I tried to test them, and I wouldn't get a clear test, and I knew I wasn't. But once I met these wonderful doctors and healers in Memphis, they showed me this new way that I call the power reflex method of muscle testing. And just I learned so much. But I had to learn because I was at that point so allergic to so many things, and had been for a long time, that I just started using muscle testing to test all my food, everything. And I got to where I never had to worry. I could even muscle test, what does the restaurant calibrate at? If it wasn't calibrated a certain number, I knew I would not feel good from eating it.
Yeah, that would be a good test. Where do I eat? Well, let's calibrate it. Let's see.
Yeah, well, that's so great when you can do that. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
I want real quick. Let me calibrate McDonald's. Let's see what they're supposed from 0 to 1,000. Let's see where they are. They're at 1, 2, 300. So you're putting 300 energy food in you. So now let's go to, we'll go to Whole Foods, to their little restaurant area. And let's see what they calibrate. I haven't done Whole Foods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 500. So you're getting a higher calibration of good food, which is what you want, because whatever you eat, you are. And, anyway, so just doing things like that. I mean, like I said, if it has some energy, which most things do, even a rock has energy, I can calibrate it and, tell you what level it's at. But anyway, once I got, started learning this, and then I became a hypnotherapist because I wanted to teach people how to work with their guardian angel. I'd had 2 near-death experiences, and when I was younger, and I had to commit to being an angel advocate. And that's when I started doing all this stuff. But the angels were wonderful because I knew they were helping me and guiding me and directing me too. But I was able, through working muscle testing, and I'd been doing it for years, to contact my superconscious mind. Actually, when we muscle test, we're contacting the subconscious mind. But we have to go through the subconscious to contact the superconscious. We consciously cannot connect with superconscious mind. We have to go through the sub part of it.
And so is that why the muscle testing is so accurate? Because basically what you're saying is you're overriding the conscious mind, which we know is all over the place or whatever. It's the, whatever filters, and you're going directly either to the body or the subconscious mind, which doesn't lie. Is that correct?
That's right. Your body is your subconscious mind. It cannot tell a lie. Your brain will lie about everything. Drink, drugs, out. It don't care. Party. But if you ask your body, it'd go, oh, weak, I don't feel good. That doesn't, you understand when you've overdone it with, with anything, how your body can feel. So again, it won't lie to you. I mean, you can walk up, like I'll go up in front of the candy counter. I say, can I have that chocolate candy bar today? And I'll get a big no. But okay, all right. Even though, but I'll ask because I want to know. And sometimes it says, yeah. Okay, so it means I'm not overloaded on sugar, so I can have some more chocolate. But anyway, I play with it, and I do all kinds of great things with it. But the most wonderful thing is I've done it for so long that after a while, my superconscious mind, I'm clairaudient, kept saying, Pam, you do not have to go through the subconscious mind anymore. You're just going to talk directly to me. And I'm going, wow, okay. And so I started doing that. And when I would try to go through the subconscious, I couldn't get a clear, message, or through muscle testing. So I said, okay, I understand. It was like guiding me. But this was just a few years ago. I mean, I had been doing, like I said, doing this for 20 years, but all of a sudden now I'm calibrating what my superconscious mind, now that's your guardian angel, I'm calibrating high enough now that this presence, her name is Beautiful Beloved, can work with me. And she can guide me and direct me and help me to be able to help other people and to bring in more light and love and healing, which is what we're all here supposed to be doing as light workers.
Wow. So let me take just a moment here, because I don't want to leave anybody behind who's joining us on this conversation. So you're talking about calibrating, you talked about muscle testing. So when you're talking about calibrating, essentially initially you used muscle testing to test for the energy level of the different foods, right? When you were comparing McDonald's to Whole Foods. And can you give us just a quick little description of how somebody might experience muscle testing for themselves, or maybe try that out at home also if they haven't been exposed to that before?
Absolutely. I'm telling you, the first way, and no one taught me this, because I've been teaching muscle testing for a long time and trying different things. I think the easiest thing to do is called the sway test. And that just means you stand up and just relax your shoulders, and you can hold something that you're saying, would this be for my highest good? I always say that. With this food or with this product or whatever, I'm wanting to do. If my body sways forward, that's always yes. But if it sways back, it's no. Positive forward, negative back. So that's the first thing I would practice. Everyone can do the sway test. And then, and it's quick and it's kind of easy. You have a hard time calibrating. Now, the calibration comes from Dr. David Hawkins' book, Power versus Force. And he came up with a logarithmic scale years ago. He's a psychiatrist, to be able to calibrate people's consciousness, because he was having a hard time working with people who were such low consciousness that he couldn't help them. And he didn't understand why until he came up with this scale. But this scale is at 100, it goes up to 1,000. 1,000 is how high we go in this lifetime, from 0 to 1,000. That's Jesus, Buddha, Krishna. That's the avatars. That's when we're in the 1,000 calibration. But that's how high we go. But other things I found rocks and crystals and things that calibrate higher than we can. But anyway, with studying his calibration scale and using it, I realized after a while I could walk into a room with 50 people, and I'm telling you, in 10 minutes, I could tell you who's going to lie to you and who's going to be your best friend, who you want to hang out with. So it was fun. And I was saying, oh, look at there, because it's almost like having X-ray vision. And but the wonderful thing is when you first start learning to play with it. But when you do get the hang of it and you know you've got it, then it's time to really start talking to your guardian angel. And that's where you want to go, is you want to talk to the big boys, I call it, and what are they're going to share. But anyway, what else did you want to ask?
Well, I was curious, since you mentioned your near-death experience. Of course, I'm fascinated by people who have had those. I've never had one myself, but we've been doing past life readings for over 20 years. What did you experience in that past life or near-death experience, and why do you think it happened? What was the lesson or the purpose of that?
I'm going to tell you the story. I'll tell you as quick as I can. I was 27. My parents had both died, and I was remarried, had 2 little kids, living up in East Tennessee, up in the hills. And I was home with them, and my husband was working all the time. But we weren't speaking. In fact, it'd been almost a month. And he was angry at me for certain reasons, and I'm not going to go into that, but he just got so mad because he could say I was rejecting him all the time, so he just wasn't going to speak to me, which I thought, well, that's great. But it was so weird about that month over with. I was like, it's hard when you don't have a lot of people around. All I had my kids to talk to, and when he'd come home, he'd say, Derek, tell your mom Dada, or Wendy, tell your mom. Anyway, so we went this route. Well, anyway, that night I laid down, and I said, God, I don't want to be here anymore. Please don't make me have to live here without the love of my family who loved me, who were all had moved away, my sisters and brothers after my parents passed. And so I started praying, and I just said some prayers. The only ones that I could remember, Lord's my shepherd, and anyway, several little prayers and it became a mantra. I'd say one and then I'd say another one. But I wasn't sleepy, and I just remember laying there for a long time, just wishing I was dead. I really wanted to die. And I thought about my 2 little children. They were like 5 and 2, and I thought, well, they'll be okay. They don't need me. I'm not loved. Nobody wants me. I'm going through all this big scenario. Anyway, I felt my body moving, not out. But I felt like my spirit was being drawn way, way back, and I was going way, 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 far, far away. And then all of a sudden, I'm lifted up like my little body's just a little baby. And this huge presence, whatever this presence was, I wasn't allowed to look at it, but I was in its arms. I feel like it was an angel. First I thought, well, it was God. But now I feel like it was an angel that came in, maybe Michael, because I heard that he was really big to come in and help people who wanted to die and leave the planet. But anyway, Michael, this presence carried me into heaven. I mean, we went like G-force, like shoo, we were up there, and we just stopped, suspended out in space. And you could look around. I looked around to see what was there, and it was just It was just space. And then I thought, oh my God, I'm back where I belong. This is my real home. This is it. It's over with. I don't have to, I'm finally, I knew that I was in the most amazing place. But what happened, as soon as I started thinking that, this angel or presence that was holding me started pouring all this love into me. The love was so tangible. It was like a thrill after a thrill after thrill. I'm going, oh my God, I thought my body would fly apart from it. See, I've never forgotten. I can call it up in a second. It was so amazing that I got to experience that. And you know what I remember saying out loud? I'm saying, that means I don't have to figure out how I'm going to make a living. My life's over with. That's done. And do you know, when I came back, that was the first thing I realized is how hard it is for us to come into this lifetime, and we don't know what we're going to be doing when we get here. And we've got to figure out how we can support ourselves for a whole lifetime. That's a big thing. So you don't think about that, but that's huge if you don't have the guidance and direction when you do come in to help yourself. Anyway, so then I'm suspended in space, being held by this presence that was pouring love. Now, this love, when I said this love was being poured into me, it felt tangible, it felt real, it felt orgasmic. I mean, it was just like, I thought, oh, my body's going to fly apart on this. Then, all of a sudden, I look out, and there's all these little twinkling lights, and you could see them moving. And then I'm hearing this sound, this toning, this. It wasn't singing, it was like a toning. It was ethereal. And I realized it was a host of angels, and as they were singing and toning, they were pouring love into me, even more than what I had, because I really wanted to be loved when I laid down that night, because I had felt so in love for so long. So then I spoke my husband's name, and I said, because the music, the sound was unbelievable. I said, honey, do you hear the music? And then I'm back in my body. Of course, and that was it. I've never been able to get back there. Oh, I tried everything. See if I could pull that off. It never did, but I do know that what it did is it made me want to live. And I said, I'll stay, but I want to know how to connect up with the angels. I want to be able to do that in this lifetime, and I want to help other people too. So my whole journey has been about finding a way to make that divine connection. And I think through the power reflex method, I found a way, but it takes time. It's a skill. You've got to learn it. You've got to practice it. But if you really want it, you'll be able to make instant contact to your higher self, which means you never feel alone. You always feel connected. You always know that you've got all the answers, everything you need right there, that you'll have the guidance. You'll know if you should do something is right for you, which is wrong. Because, see, that's the hardest thing when we die. We have to figure out what is, the highest and the best. But when I can do muscle testing and I can say, would it be for my highest good to do this interview? I ask everything, and they said yes. I always ask, and said yes, it would be. So it's fun. It's like it's my guidance. And it's so wonderful when you feel you're all alone and you have no one, but you got this connection. It's awesome.
Now, sometimes, I've experienced along my spiritual path that sometimes it seems like we have these peak spiritual experiences, is what I started calling them, because it seems like sometimes we have these experiences that are like kind of, beyond our everyday experience, and we kind of strive to get back there, but then, our everyday life turns out to be a little different. But I find it's almost like a carrot. It's kind of like keeps us reaching and growing. So those experiences are really amazing. That was a great story. But I did have one question too, because it brings up an interesting question, because you're talking about the guardian angels. And a lot of times, in our background working with metaphysics, we have talked to people, and some people's view is, we have these spirit guides, and they're kind of like us, only they don't have a physical body. Maybe they have more wisdom than we do, and they can kind of help guide us and help us make decisions and things like that. But then there's also the angels, and then a lot of people say, well, the angels are different because they have kind of like a higher energy. They're more in contact with the superconscious mind and directly in contact with Creator. And so I'm curious, from your experience, how would you describe is there any difference between spirit guides and guardian angels? Do you think it's just different names for the same phenomenon that people experience, or are they different?
They're different. We do have spirit guides, but the angels, they calibrate. Like, say we calibrate up to 1,000, they're like 80,000. You know, they're just huge. They're
off the charts.
Off the charts. That's why we don't get to hang out with them too much. We have to be able to be ready. And they don't show themselves to us because they would scare us, because they're huge and presence. But beautiful also. Going back to what you were saying, can you say that one more time?
Oh, yeah. Was it the part about the peak spiritual experiences where we kind of have these, I was talking about the peak spiritual experiences that, like, sometimes we have these experiences that just seem kind of to be beyond sort of our capabilities at that moment, but it kind of keeps us reaching for something bigger.
Well, absolutely, and it does, and I think that's why they do that. I think that they thought, if we don't let Pam know that there's something besides this life, that she won't want to stay. And I didn't until I had my near death, and I said, okay, if this is where I'm going to go when I leave here, God, I'll stay. But I want to know that you're taking care of me and helping me. And this is I was so blessed to get to work with Dr. Hugh Lynn. He brought the whole Ponopono to the United States back in the 90s, and I got to do classes with him for 3 years. An amazing man. So he's the one that taught us about the subconscious and the guardian angels and how we connect and everything, which I love that Huna did share that, the philosophy. Huna means secret, the secret to life. And they've kept this secret forever because I guess they didn't want us to know what the good things of it. And this is what Haleakala said. To enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to be an innocent child. Consciously, you cannot go to the superconscious mind, which is your guardian angel or your oversoul. But the subconscious mind can go there in a heartbeat. Only if it feels good about itself. Now, if we've been beating up that little inner child, that's your subconscious mind. Most subconscious minds are 3 or 4 years old, but that's what's running your life. But anyway, if we've not been taking good care and loving that child and keeping its self-esteem high, when we need help, it cannot go to the superconscious mind and present our problem for a prayer for help. I mean, you can pray till the cows come home. But if that little inner child in you isn't divinely connected to you and the superconscious mind. And so that's what Haleakala taught us, how to take care of the little inner child. That's what I did. And that's what I've done. That's what I've taught and shared and all that stuff. I mean,
that's a great point, Pam, because I know so many teenagers, begin that pattern of self-sabotage, putting themselves down, and that just continues throughout adulthood. And I don't know, I mean, why do you think so many of us do that? Our first tendency is to criticize ourselves and beat ourselves up for what we didn't do right. And then it becomes this pattern, like a neural pathway. The minute you do something wrong, focus on that. And then rarely do we congratulate ourselves.
And that's why we don't love ourselves. We don't know. We aren't taught to love ourselves. We're taught to find fault with ourselves and what's wrong with us and that we're not good enough and all the other things, that unless you have wonderful, tuned in, tapped in, turned on parents who, are very spiritual, and you get to come into a family like that. Rarely do we, And so, of course, we come in and we have to take on everybody's stuff, and we become all that. And then you know what my angel said, we take on everything from our parents, the negative and the positive. But we're here to transform the negative and not pass it on to our children. He said, that's what your life work is if you have children.
Yeah. Simple little thing to do, right?
Simple thing like that.
Yeah. Well, I know. I mean, and I believe that we choose our parents for a reason. And so whatever those issues are that they had to get passed on to us, I feel like we signed up for that somehow in our own karma, or however you want to look at it, we wanted to really deal with that issue. And so by choosing parents that are also dealing with it, it's a perfect scenario where everybody can kind of work on it at the same time. That's what I found in the work that we've been doing. And so we're almost coming up to the break, Pam, but I do want to focus on, and we'll finish it in the second half of the show, is this idea of our emotions, because, we teach in metaphysics that thought is cause, but we often leave out the emotional realm. And I know a lot of your work involves looking at the emotions and what's blocking people from whatever it is, better health, better relationships. And I also want to talk about the energy code, which I'm assuming works with the emotions as well.
You mean the body code and the emotion code? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. And we'll talk about that. I'll be happy to share.
Great. Well, we are going to be going into a break here.
All right. So we're at the bottom of the hour. And so please be sure to check out more on the Spirits Journey page on Truth Frequency Radio. Remember that Truth Frequency Radio is a listener-supported station, and your contributions go to help support the station as well as Spirits Journey Radio. This is Spirits Journey on Truth Frequency Radio and Oneness Talk Radio. We will see you on the other side. Back from the break. If you are just joining us, this is Spirits Journey with Patrick and Catherine Andrews. We are coming to you on Truth Frequency Radio and Oneness Talk Radio. Today we have Pam Drinnon, and we have a fascinating discussion about health and healing, how you can use muscle testing and energy work in your life. And so welcome back to the second half.
And during the break, I just got this amazing clearing from Pam. She identified some blocked emotions that I had, or trapped emotions. Did some clearing. She was right on, folks. It was fascinating. So we're going to let Pam do that for Patrick, so you all can see the scope and depth of work that she does.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to be doing is clearing some trapped emotions. And a trapped emotion is different than a heart wall. The only thing different about a heart wall means there is a wall up over an emotion that the subconscious mind put the wall up for your protection. Now, when these trapped emotions come in, you could be out and some idiot almost run over you or something. You're all tore up and frustrated and angry, and so you hold that emotion in because you didn't let it go because you were upset. That you almost got run over, and it could have been a terrible. I mean, this is what gets these emotions in. That are just trapped. Now, Patrick has 3 emotions that are coming up that show that right now, and the 3 are taken for granted. Everybody feels taken for granted.
That seems like
I do all the work and nobody else does anything. Okay, and then peeved. Something about, you got peeved about something. You got pissed off somewhere. Let's see, we're going to find out what that is. And then overwhelmed. Overwhelmed really means something happened, you didn't know how to fix it. So it becomes overwhelming, And it may be so many things that you may be just overwhelmed about pulling this together this evening. That could be overwhelming, to make that happen. But I want to see when these emotions came on you. I can calibrate that in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 4 weeks, and a month ago. Oh, so we've been carrying these emotions around for about a month. Regarding money, career, regarding something with money, with finances. Where you felt taken for granted, you got peeved about it, and something was overwhelming with it. Is that right? Yeah, something then. Mm-hmm. So just that's a trapped emotion that comes up. A wall means, the thing is, when a heart wall goes up over an emotion, say your heart wall went up over trapped, taken for granted, you'll always feel taken for granted until that heart wall is taken down or it gets dissolved or gone. And so, but when it's got a wall up, you got to figure out the wall and everything. What we're really doing is we're just telling your subconscious mind, okay, we've held on to this negative emotion for a long time. We're going to let it go. We don't need it anymore. And that's when we do the clearing. So, Patrick, to clear these emotions, all you do is just close your eyes, and I will say this little release here. So take a deep breath and blow off the feeling taken for granted. Infinite love and gratitude, Holy Spirit, infinite love. Okay, let's release feeling peeved. No more being angry or peeved about anything. Infinite love and gratitude, infinite love, infinite love. Overwhelmed. Let's let go of feeling overwhelmed. Infinite love, infinite love, infinite love. Did we clear everything? Said, no, we didn't. Said, there is something else. Let's see what there was one more that we didn't. Okay, creative insecurity. Now that just means something happened and you felt like you could not create the life you want. Is that a heart wall? Says, yes, it is. Now I'm going to go back in time. When you were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Oh, that's when we take on the shadow. At 10. That's the big one. Okay, so what is, let's see. When this came in to...
That'd be about 4th grade, right?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4th grade. Had to do with your teacher? No, it had to do with your mother. Had again to do with your father. Says something with the father around that time is why you're carrying that emotion. Okay, of creative insecurity. Was your dad doing okay then? Can you remember anything? 4th grade? Lordy. Is it important that you know? It says no, it's not important. Sometimes it will, the higher self will say, yeah, you need to remember, what was going on. This can be cleared no matter what.
All right.
So, but anyway, again, your subconscious mind, to protect you, put a wall up of wood, stone, steel, brick, iron, an iron wall that's 5, 6 feet thick. So we're going to take that iron wall down and we'll let go of any feelings that you cannot create ever the life that you want. Okay? So take a deep breath. Infinite love and gratitude, infinite love, infinite love. So be it. Okay, is anything else? Said, no, that was it. So we cleared your emotions there. And remember, we do have over 300 trapped emotions. And they just come up. And sometimes people say, well, you cleared that off of me last time. But what I cleared off of you today, if I cleared you in a month and it came up, it was from another time. It was not from this time. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's...
Well, I can relate. The 4th grade was a pretty tough year. I don't remember specifics about anything with my dad, but there could have been something right around then. Let's see, you said 10 years old. Yeah, that would make sense because I think that was about the time that I learned that my parents were getting divorced. So I think that was
I kept getting it with something with your mother and your dad when you were talking.
I think that's when they announced that they were getting divorced.
Right. So that definitely is going to make you feel insecure about, where am I going to live? Who am I going to take care of? Can you imagine a 10-year-old child, what that could have been like? That's when my parents got a divorce when I was 10 too. It's huge.
Yeah, I remember a lot of thoughts of insecurity, like what's going to happen? Because I really didn't know what that meant for me. Like, what does this mean? Am I going to be, wandering around? I had no idea what that all meant back then.
And that's why your subconscious mind put that 6 foot thick iron wall up. That was your protection. But we've taken what we did is we just said, okay, subconscious mind, I'm a big boy now. You don't have to put a wall up to protect me anymore. I can do this. And that's what we're really doing is we release these walls and these emotions,
So basically, Pam, would you say that these, heart walls that we've built is what the core of what's blocking people from better health, wealth, whatever it is that they want?
Whatever that is that they want to do, it is that. People come in and say, well, I want to make $1 million, and I want to remove all the money blocks that I have. And I'll go, okay, let me ask your subconscious mind if it believes you can make $1 million. 9 times out of 10, it says no. It doesn't. And then I'll say, well, how much does it believe? Well, it says you can make 100,000, but not 1,000,000, because you have to be in alignment with the subconscious for it to be able to help you get the things you want in life. And this is the way to do it.
Right. Wow. And so let's talk a little about the body code, because honestly, I think I've heard it in passing, but I have no details on it. And you are such a great, spokesperson for how well this can work. What can you tell us about the emotion/body code?
Well, the emotion code is in a book. The body code comes in from Dr. Nelson. It's a system. He did all these videos, and plus we have a big notebook we do, but mostly he taught us through videos and how to do this. And then we bought a system called the body code. And when it comes up on my iPad, it shows all your systems, your energies, your circuits and systems. Where do you have toxins? Do you have pathogens? Are you all your misalignments? Nutrition, lifestyle tells you if you're not eating right, if your pH is off, if you're not drinking enough water. It tells you everything. It's an amazing thing to do it, and you'd be amazed at just some of the little things I have done. I'm going, well, I do feel better, and which I love this because I can tell if I have a virus. It'll tell me if I've picked up a virus. They may not say what kind it is, but it'll say you got a virus. But I've been doing that for years. I think that's one thing that has given me not to feel so panicky and fearful about this COVID thing, because I know how to take care of my body. I know how to keep my immune system strong so that if anything came in, any kind of virus, it couldn't live. I just am keeping my system strong and my immune system strong, because I can calibrate my immune system. Everybody, your immune system calibrates to 100. So mine is at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and I'm 100. Let me calibrate your immune system, Catherine. You're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So you've got you're not 100. Let me see what's Patrick's 80. So I think you both have got some trapped emotions that if we remove those, that would bring your immune system back up to 100. That's what usually happens. Just getting rid of some of these emotions when we're not 100% on something, I'm calibrating.
Yeah, well, I loved what you said about that, because that's what, since this virus broke out, I was like, because I have a background in natural health, I've been telling people, look, you can do things besides wash your hands, which is all the media could say, right? I'm like, you know how to boost your immune system, guys. Vitamin C, vitamin A, get out there, get some sun, do some superfoods, because ever since it started, I had the belief that I can heal myself. This is not a serious thing, first of all. And second of all, I pretty well know my body too. Like you, I may not pick up exactly I have a virus, but the minute I know something's off, that's when I start boosting the immune system. So if people had the power in their hands and knew how much power they have, viruses like this, we would just laugh at and say, okay, just another thing to deal with,
People, yes, you're right. And people who do this kind of work, they do. They're just like me. Hey, I'm fine. I know I can. I can test myself immediately. If I get a sniffle or anything, I'm going, is that a virus? And I can tell sometimes if it's a bacterial infection or if it's E. coli or, staph strep. I can check all kinds of things. The body is amazing. You have to know where, again, these are reflex points, a lot for that. So it just takes time to learn it, and then you can start helping yourself and everybody else.
Well, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the experiment. Wim Hof, who's a breath worker, among other things, he was so confident on the power of his subconscious mind, he actually did an experiment where he had, I think it was Botox, injected into his body. And he knew that he could withstand or block the negative effects of it. And so it was all recorded in a lab, and he was able to get through that without any negative side effects.
And
yes.
You know what? I believe the mind can do everything, but it isn't everything. We come in here with the body, so we got to take care of the body. I've had so many people say, well, it's all mind stuff. If I get the mind right, the body will be okay. Well, maybe. This is what Dr. Kaneko, the doctor acupuncturist who taught me shiatsu years ago. He said, remember this, the mind controls the body until the body breaks down and it gets sick, then it controls the mind. And that's when spirit has to come out to heal the mind and the body.
That's interesting. We were just talking the other day with a guest who's going to be on our show about this dual way street where a lot of times in metaphysics we're taught it's one directional, like thought is cause. But then he was saying, no, we're finding out actually that it's not always thought affects body, but also, or thought affects feelings, but that feelings can also affect or cause a thought. And so what you're just saying is right in alignment with that it's not always the mind affects the body, but the body can affect the mind.
Well, I talk about this because my sister and I was all about the body because I was a body worker. Well, she was all about the mind because she was always working on her mind and everybody, our minds, but she ended up leaving the planet because she got cancer, because she wanted to believe that she didn't have to do anything to her body and she could just do whatever she wanted to and she was going to be fine, because her mind was going to stay connected to her divine. And so anyway, I've looked at that many, many times. And I heard her saying to me over and over, oh, the mind controls the body. It can do everything. But we have to have the balance, honey. It does have to be mind, body, spirit. And it's important, I think, as the others.
Well, do you think in a case like hers, is that she had some stuff roaming around in that subconscious mind, some negative thoughts, unhealthy, productive thoughts that she was not aware of. And that is what caused her to, eventually break down with different physical things. Because I know so often people are like, oh, but, I don't know why I'm sick. They're not aware of the thoughts and they could be such deep subconscious, patterns and thoughts that we've avoided.
And you're so right with that. She had some things going on, and I think she just was ready to leave the planet, and it was her way out. We all name our poison, I say, to get off the planet. So that was hers. But the thing too is after she passed and I started learning the emotion code, I went back in time, and when I was with her in hospice, and I said, what are her emotions? And I mean, everything that was going on that we didn't know about, it showed up. It was so amazing. And I thought, wow, but it's just so much. And the thing is, the wonderful thing about muscle testing, you can muscle test anything. Of course, you can muscle test your animals. You can muscle test your plants. And of course, people can muscle test a website. What's that website calibrate? Is it calibrate high enough for me to work with them, to build me a website? So I do that a lot with people who are, are starting businesses, because I help them calibrate people they want to hire, because if they're not at a certain calibration, they won't get the results that they want. I mean, there's so much that can be done with it once you learn to muscle test. You can just take off and have a blast.
So you talked earlier about talking to your higher guidance also. So is there anything that you can give to the people who are joining us that they can start trying out, experimenting with communicating with their higher guidance?
Well, absolutely. And the higher guidance is always there. It's just making contact to it. And it does try to connect up with us. The higher our vibration, the higher we calibrate. See, when I first started doing this, and I go back and I said, what was I calibrating when I started doing the muscle testing? I was like at 580. Then I got bumped up to 680. And I feel like it was through all my healing work and me helping people and doing this and over. So I'm calling in the angel presences. They're all working with me. So my calibration is getting higher. That means they can work with me. And anyway, the last time I calibrate myself, I don't like to do this because I'm like at 800. And that was when I got the message from my superconscious, my guardian angel, Pam, you don't have to call your subconscious mind anymore. You can just go directly to me. But I really believe you need to start with your subconscious mind. And I take people on a journey to meet their little inner child, and which is 3 or 4 years old, and it has its name, it has its age, it tells you what it needs. You have to figure out my subconscious. Her name's Sweet Pea, and all she wanted to do is play. She said, "You work all the time. We never have any fun." So I started, which was true. I said, "Well, I gotta make money." "No, we don't. We can play." So I started just making sure that if she wanted to get up and go get a latte, I take her. If she wanted to lay in bed and watch a movie, we do that. I let her dress me every day. She loves to. She's all into jewelry. She just has me looking all sparkly and twinkly, and tutus. She'd have me in every little. She's all like that. She's just this little girl. So I play with her, and I allow. And you say, "Well, those are things that you want." But yeah, but it's also the things our little inner child wants. And when she knows that her needs are being met, and I am being good to her and not fussing at her and calling her names and stupid dummy, whatever, things like that, which we do when we get upset at ourselves or anything. But you keep that vibration high for her so that when you need something, and all right, example, one day I was going to work in Memphis. They said the night before there was going to be an ice storm. Well, I got up and grass looked frosty. Didn't think too much about it. Got out of the car, went flying down the road, and all of a sudden I'm coming up on a big bridge. And I see cars all over the place. I'm going, oh my gosh. They were just stopped, and some had wrecked. And I happened to be behind an ambulance because we were close to a hospital and a car. So I put on my brakes and I skidded all over the place. And it scared me. I said, "Oh God, please help me. Please help me." And something said, "Pump your brakes." And as soon as I did that, I righted back up. So me and that ambulance and that car in front of me, we were the only ones that got across that bridge without, there must have been 50 cars on it. It was a big old long bridge, They were everywhere. So when I got off of the bridge, though, when I got on the other side, I just pulled over and I was shaking. And I said, "God, I know you heard my prayer." But that's how it works. And when I said, "God, please help me," my inner child, Sweet Pea, went flying to God and said, or my angel said, "Look, me and Pam, we got a problem down here. We need some help." And your prayers are answered. That's how I get it. That's how they tell me it works.
Wow. Well, I love the part about the inner child and how you actually converse and dialogue as if it was, almost.
You do.
Yeah. And I know that, in psychology and a lot of people talk about inner child work, but I've never heard it described the way you did. And I love it because sometimes I feel like I battle with mine when, my mind's like, "Oh, come on, we want to break." I'm like, no, gotta work. We don't have time for that. But the times that I do give in to that little voice, it usually turns out really good. So I appreciate you sharing that. And I think anybody out there who is not happy or not listening, it can make a huge difference. And would you say that our inner child is basically the age at which emotionally we shut down, or because there was some big event at that age that we just crushed that part of ourselves?
That's a great question, honey. The thing is, most inner children are 3, 4 years old. 3 or 4, that's pretty much what I get most of the time. Every now and then I'll get 5. The oldest I've ever gotten was 7. That told me, though, that child did not get to play. It didn't get to have a good childhood because usually the little child is just little. So anyway, but still, it's your, and the people that I pulled that 7-year up there said, "You're right. Yeah, I had a really, rough life growing up and everything." But anyway, that's why when I first started studying all this stuff about 8 years ago, everything I would read, everybody said, "It's your emotions. You got to control the emotions. You got to figure out what all this emotion stuff was." So that I knew, okay, I've got that down. But the thing about it was talked about making that connection. So Holly Alcala said, again, remember, to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to be an innocent child. So if we can keep our little child innocent, and when we want to enter heaven and we need help, it can go there immediately. Do you see what I mean?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Of course, that's my philosophy. And it works for me.
Well, Pam, before we get too much further in, because we're coming up toward the end here of the second half, how can people get a hold of you? Because you can work with people no matter where they live, right?
Absolutely. I do, most of my work is on the phone right now or through Zoom, which is great because sometimes people do like to see what you look like. And I do them too because you can tell more about the person. Well, the way to reach me, I do not have a website, but you can go to Facebook and put in P. Drinnon 1, and you can get right there. Put my name in, Pam Drinnon. Also, my email address, you can always reach me there, is angelworks, ANGELWRKS 22 at hotmail.com. And I can give you my phone number if you want to call me, 901-331-0841.
All right. So keep in mind that just in case that went by too fast for you, you can always listen to that again on the archives at Truth Frequency Radio or Oneness Talk Radio. Also, it won't be up immediately, but you could go to our channel on YouTube as well if you need to get that again. But so on Facebook, that is P. Drinnon, and Drinnon is DRINNON, and then the number 1. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. P. Drinnon 1.
Right. So that's on Facebook.
And Pam, so a lot of people are probably wondering, well, how could she muscle test me if I'm in France and she's in, Tennessee or wherever? We have a way to explain to people how we can do long distance past life readings, but how do you do this muscle testing without actually, touching or being with the person?
It's because everything has a vibration. When you text me a message, I can muscle test you through just you sending me a short message. I can tell you what your emotions are, if you're sick, what problems you can have. I can do all that just by that. But the best part is hearing the voice, getting that vibration. But again, I used to think that I had to see the person, I had to hear their voice to be able to calibrate them. No, you can send me a text. It's got your vibration. I can check you out on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one thing that's really exciting to me is some of these discoveries that are being made in quantum mechanics. I mean, things like entanglement and different ideas in string theory that are coming together, and a lot of these things are being proved out. So it's very exciting how some of these discoveries in science are really reinforcing and validating some of these ideas that have been around in metaphysics for thousands of years, like distance healing, for example.
Oh, I know, honey. And all of a sudden, all this good stuff is coming up that we can use, coming up into the future. But just to think that you can be in control of your life just through muscle testing, meaning you feel in charge. You can make a connection to your divine in an instant, in a second, and get your answers. You don't have to go, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Just go to your higher self. What would be for my highest good? And you'll get it. You'll get your answer.
Well, Pam, it's been a joy having you on today. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today.
And it's been a joy to be with you guys. Hope to get to be with you again soon.
Definitely. Well, if you've been joining us on this conversation, we love having you with us. So please connect with us on Facebook at Spirits Journey Radio. Be sure to like our page so that we can be part of your life and you can be part of ours. You can also study with us or get a reading from us at intuitiveschool.com. This has been Spirit's Journey on Truth Frequency Radio and Oneness Talk Radio. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Catherine. We'll catch you next week.
Bye for now.